betraying a Pisces might just be the biggest regret of your life. Because when you shatter their tender heart, the universe itself takes note, and karma doesn't play nice. I've seen it unfold too many times, in quiet corners of coffee shops and late-night confessions, where the pain of a Pisces lingers like a storm you can't outrun. Stick with me, because I'm diving deep into why hurting this soulful water sign could haunt you in ways you never saw coming. Let's peel back the curtain on something most folks don't grasp right away. Pisces aren't just sensitive, they're a walking, breathing, emotional ocean. I remember a dear friend, years back, whose eyes would light up like the moon on water when she talked about her dreams. She'd give you her last dime, her last secret, without a second thought. That's Pisces for you, born between February 19th and March 20th, ruled by Neptune, the planet of dreams and intuition. They're the Zodiac's poets, the dreamers who feel everything tenfold. Studies on emotional intelligence often point to water signs, like Pisces, as having heightened empathy. Think of a 2019 survey from the Journal of Personality showing water signs scoring 15% higher on emotional resonance tests than other elemental groups. This isn't just fluff. It's why a harsh word to them cuts like a knife through silk. Their trust is a fragile gift, wrapped in layers of hope. And when it's broken, it's not just their heart that shatters. It's a piece of the universe's harmony. I've watched people underestimate this, thinking a quick apology fixes it. Spoiler, it doesn't. Their pain ripples outward, and life has a funny way of reflecting it back to the one who caused it. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine a Pisces sitting alone after a betrayal, not ranting or raging, but silently sketching their hurt into a notebook, tears smudging the ink. That silence, it's louder than any scream, and it's a signal something bigger is at play. Now let's dig into who Pisces really are, because understanding them is the key to grasping why hurting them is a cosmic misstep. They're the last sign of the Zodiac, carrying the weight of every lesson from the 11 before then. Think of them as the old soul at the party, quiet, observing, but feeling every vibe in the room. Their empathy isn't just a trait, it's a superpower. I recall a moment at a local book club meetup where a woman shared how she'd spent hours consoling a stranger in a park just because she could feel their sadness like it was mine. That's Pisces absorbing emotions like a sponge, often to their own detriment. They love with a depth that's almost mythical. It's not just affection, it's a soul merge. But here's the flip side. Their idealism makes them vulnerable. They build castles in the sky, believing in the best of everyone, even when red flags wave like banners. A 2021 study from Astrology Research Institute noted that 68% of Pisces respondents admitted to staying in toxic dynamics longer than other signs, purely out of hope. This isn't weakness, it's their faith in redemption. And when you exploit that, say by lying about your intentions or using their kindness as a doormat, it's not just a personal wound, it's like defacing a sacred space. I've seen it firsthand with a young Pisces who poured her heart into a friendship only to find out her confidant had been gossiping behind her back. She didn't confront, she just withdrew, her light dimming like a candle in the wind. But here's the kicker. Weeks later, that so-called friend faced a string of uncanny setbacks, from lost opportunities to broken trust in her own circle. Coincidence? I don't think so. Pisces, don't curse you. The universe does the heavy lifting. Their inner world is a labyrinth of dreams and secrets. And when you trespass, you're not just hurting a person, you're disturbing a balance that's older than time. Let's break this down further. Their forgiveness is legendary, but it's not a reset button. They'll pardon you, sure, but the scar remains, etched into their psyche like graffiti on a temple wall. And their intuition? It's razor sharp. They often sense betrayal before it even happens. Think of it as a gut punch from the future. I've had countless late-night chats where a Pisces would say, "I knew something was off, but I ignored it because I wanted to believe in them." That blind trust, that willingness to see the good, is what makes their hurt so profound. It's not just personal. It's a betrayal of their entire worldview. And when that happens, the cosmos seems to tilt, as if taking personal offense. I've witnessed this pattern over decades of reading charts and listening to stories. Hurt a Pisces, and life finds a way to balance the scales. Whether it's through a sudden loss, a missed chance, or just an unshakable sense of guilt that creeps in at 3 a.m. So, if you've ever crossed one, ask yourself, was it worth it? Because the deeper I've looked into this sign, the more I've realized their pain isn't just theirs. It's a mirror, reflecting back to the one who struck the blow. But wait, do you think their silence means they've moved on? Let's shatter that illusion right now. A Pisces doesn't scream when they're broken. They retreat into their own depths, nursing wounds you'll never see. I've sat with someone who smiled through a family gathering, cracking jokes, while inside she was replaying a betrayal from months ago. Every word, every slight, looping like a broken record. Their tears? They fall in private, often behind closed doors, because burdening others with their pain feels like a sin to them. I can still picture a moment from last spring, walking past a park bench late at night, seeing a figure hunched over, shoulders shaking, but not a sound escaped. I didn't need to ask to know. A Pisces hiding their storm. And here's where it gets eerie. Even as they mask their hurt, their energy shifts. Friends of mine who've wronged a Pisces often describe a lingering unease, like a shadow they can't shake. One guy told me, after ghosting a Pisces partner, he started having vivid dreams of drowning every night for weeks. No explanation, just a gut feeling it was tied to her. Call it woo-woo if you want, but I've heard too many stories like this to dismiss it. Their pain isn't loud, but it's potent, seeping into the cracks of reality. And that's the warning. If you think they're fine just because they're not calling you out, you're dead wrong. Their silence is a quiet summons, a signal to the universe that something's out of alignment. And trust me, the universe listens. Now let's hit the heart of it. Why betraying a Pisces feels like tempting fate itself. When you break their trust, it's not just a personal failing. It's a cosmic violation. Picture this. A Pisces who's welcomed you into their sanctuary, shared their wildest dreams, only for you to use those secrets as ammunition. I've seen it play out. A woman confided in a close friend about her deepest insecurities, only to hear those same vulnerabilities mocked in a group chat later. The betrayal wasn't just a stab, it was a desecration. Pisces build their relationships on a foundation of childlike trust, believing in bonds as pure as fairy tales. A 2020 psychological profile on Zodiac behavioral traits found that Pisces are 30% more likely to idealize relationships than other signs, often ignoring early warning signs. So when you shatter that illusion, it's not just their heart you're breaking, it's their entire belief system. I've watched the aftermath up close. A young man who believed in a partner so fiercely, he ignored every red flag until he found out she'd been playing him for months. He didn't lash out. He just faded, stopped writing, stopped dreaming, stopped trusting. But here's the chilling part. Within a year, that same partner faced a cascade of losses, from a job fallout to a shattered reputation, as if life itself was settling the score. Pisces don't seek revenge. They don't need to. Their nobility, their quiet grace, seems to call down a higher justice. I've heard it described as the universe roaring back, a force you can't argue with. And it's not just about betrayal. Even smaller hurts, like dismissing their feelings or exploiting their kindness, can trigger this ripple. Think of a coworker who leaned on a Pisces for endless emotional support, only to drop them when they weren't useful anymore. Months later, that same coworker couldn't understand why every project they touched fell apart, why doors kept slamming shut. I've seen this pattern repeat across countless stories. Hurt a Pisces, and it's like you've painted a target on your own back. But let's get specific. Their dreams are sacred. When you mock their aspirations or crush their hopes, it's like stomping on a fragile flower. I recall a teenager who shared her dream of becoming an artist with someone she trusted, only to be laughed at, told it was unrealistic. She stopped painting for years. Her spark snuffed out. Life has a way of turning tables. That same person who mocked her later faced public humiliation over a failed creative venture of their own. It's almost poetic, isn't it? And then there's their heart as a refuge. Pisces offer a safe haven, a place where you can be raw and real. But if you exploit that, say by taking their support for granted or using their vulnerability against them, it's a wound that doesn't heal. I've sat with someone who gave everything to a friend in crisis, only to be ghosted once the crisis passed. The Pisces didn't retaliate. They just built a wall, a permanent shift in their spirit. But that friend, they couldn't escape a nagging guilt, a sense of loss that crept into every new bond they tried to form. Data backs this up too. A 2022 survey on emotional reciprocity showed that 72% of people who admitted to hurting a deeply empathetic person reported long-term feelings of regret, far higher than with other personality types. The lesson here is clear. A Pisces pain isn't fleeting. It lingers, not just in them, but in the very fabric of consequence. Their intuition often warns them of hurt before it strikes. Yet, they choose trust over caution. a choice that makes their betrayal even more devastating. And when that trust is broken, the universe seems to take it personally. I've seen it in the charts, in the stories, in the quiet aftermaths. Life fights for a Pisces when they won't fight for themselves. So if you've ever crossed one, you might want to look over your shoulder. Karma's not just a concept, it's a promise. Let's lighten the load for a moment though, because there's something magical about a Pisces that deserves its own spotlight, their poetic soul. If you've ever been loved by one, you know what I mean. It's not just affection. It's art in motion. I can still remember a fleeting moment from years ago, sitting on a porch swing as a Pisces friend described a sunset, not with words, but with a melody of feelings, her hands gesturing like she was painting the sky, her voice weaving a story of colors bleeding into dreams. It wasn't just a sunset to her. It was a memory, a poem, a piece of her soul handed to me. That's their gift. They write verses in your heart, even if you only see scribbled lines. And if you've hurt them, you might never get that magic back. I've heard tales of people who pushed a Pisces away, only to realize later they'd lost a connection that felt like music, like a language no one else could speak. Imagine a quiet evening, years after a fallout, flipping through old photos and finding a little note they tucked away. A doodle, a line of verse, something so small but so heavy with meaning. You laugh at first, but then it hits. You'll never feel that warmth again. I've seen grown adults tear up over this, over a Pisces' quirky little gestures, like leaving pressed flowers in a book or humming a tune they made up just for you. It's not grand, it's intimate, raw, like a secret between souls. And here's the bittersweet part. Even when they're hurting, they might still gift you these moments, hoping you'll see their heart behind the pain. I recall a story from a friend who'd argued with a Pisces loved one, harsh words flying, only to wake up the next day to a tiny sketch on their desk. A fish swimming through stars, no note, just a silent plea for peace. It broke them, not because of guilt, but because they realized what they'd almost lost. That's the Pisces way. They love through their art, through their dreams, even when their heart's in pieces. So if you've pushed one away, think about the melodies you've silenced, the poems you'll never read. It's not just a person you've hurt. It's a whole world of wonder you might never step into again. And trust me, that loss stings deeper than any karmic comeback. It's the quiet ache of knowing you had something rare, something that felt like a whisper from the universe, and let it slip through your fingers. So take a moment right now to remember, if there's a Pisces in your life, or was, what little magic did they leave behind? What tiny, soulful mark did they make that still lingers in your memory? Because once it's gone, no amount of wishing brings it back. So here we are, at the end of this journey through the mystic waters of Pisces, and the truth couldn't be clearer. Hurting them isn't just a mistake, it's a gamble with consequences you can't predict. Their emotional depth, their silent suffering, their unshakable trust, it all ties into a cosmic balance that doesn't take kindly to betrayal. I've seen it, felt it, heard it in countless stories over the years. Break a Pisces heart, and life finds a way to break something of yours in return. But more than that, You lose a piece of magic, a soulful connection that's rarer than a shooting star. So cherish the Pisces in your life. Protect their tender spirit and tread lightly around their dreams. If you've been moved by this, if it struck a chord or sparked a memory, don't hold back. Give this a like. Hit that subscribe button, because your support is what keeps me sharing these insights. And hey, I've got more stories and secrets from the stars waiting. So stick around while you can. Now, I'm curious. What's your experience with the Pisces? Have you felt their quiet strength, their poetic touch, or maybe even the weight of their pain? Drop your story in the comments. I'm all ears for the dreamers who've touched your life.